The line at the border crossing has not moved in 20 minutes. A young man stands at the front, passport in hand, sweat darkening the collar of a shirt that is too heavy for the heat. The officer behind the glass does not look at the document. He looks at the man, at the small muscles around the eyes, at the hand that keeps drifting up to touch the side of the neck, then dropping again, as if the hand itself is embarrassed. The traveler answers every question quickly, too quickly. His story is clean. His story is perfect. And that, more than anything, is the problem. However, here is the part almost nobody outside that booth understands. The officer is not catching a lie in a single glance. There is no magic tell. There is no twitch that screams guilty. What is actually happening is older, slower, and far stranger than the movies pretend. It is a method. And once you see how it works, you cannot unsee it. Welcome back to War Code. If you are new here, this channel takes you inside the quiet tradecraft of special forces, intelligence officers, and the interrogators who do the work nobody films. Subscribe now, because what we are about to walk through is the closest thing to a real human lie detector that exists, and it is nothing like what you have been told. We are going to teach you the actual framework, the same one taught at the highest levels, and we are going to be honest with you about where it fails, because the people who do this for a living are honest about that too. First, let us draw a hard line between this video and the one many of you came here from. Earlier, we showed you how Delta Force operators scan a crowd and spot a killer before anyone else does. That was threat detection. That was about danger, about reading intent to harm in a public space. This is something different. This is deception detection. We are not asking who is dangerous. We are asking a far more delicate question. Who is lying to my face right now? The crowd video was about survival. This one is about truth. And truth, it turns out, hides in completely different places. Think about why this matters to you, and not just to a man in a uniform. You make this call every week of your life. The contractor who swears the delay was not his fault. The employee explaining a gap in a story. The person across the table on a first date, telling you about their last relationship. The teenager who came home an hour late with an answer that almost adds up. You are reading deception constantly, badly, on instinct, and that instinct is wrong far more often than you would ever guess. The professionals are not gifted with a sixth sense. They are simply trained to slow down and look in the right order. That order is the whole secret, and it is teachable. So let us start where every real interrogator starts. Not with the lie, with the truth. Picture an interview room, bare walls, a table, 2 chairs. The first 10 minutes have nothing to do with the case. The questioner asks about the weather, about the drive over, about the man's job, his kids, his favorite team. This looks like small talk. It is not. It is calibration. The officer is building what professionals call a baseline. He is watching how this specific human being behaves when there is nothing to hide, how fast he talks when relaxed, where his hands rest, how often he blinks, whether he tends to look away when he thinks, whether he smiles with his whole face or just his mouth. Because here is the single most important idea in this entire field, and it is the one nobody puts on a thumbnail. There is no universal sign of lying. None. A person who avoids eye contact might be lying, or might be shy, or might come from a culture where looking an authority figure in the eye is rude. A person who fidgets might be guilty, or might just be a person who fidgets. The signal is never the behavior itself. The signal is the change, the deviation from that person's own normal, the baseline you spent 10 boring minutes building on purpose. This is why the lone glance is a myth. You have heard it 1,000 times. Liars look up and to the left. Liars cannot hold eye contact. Liars touch their nose. Almost all of it is folklore. Research going back decades has found that gaze aversion is one of the least reliable indicators of deception that exists. Many practiced liars hold eye contact better than honest people, precisely because they have been told that looking away gives them away. So they overcorrect, they stare. If you walk into a conversation hunting for one tell, you will catch the nervous innocent and miss the calm professional every single time. Hold that warning close, because almost everything you think you know about lying came from drama, not from data. Picture every interrogation scene you have ever watched. The detective leans in, catches the suspect glancing sideways, and slams the table. Caught you. It makes for great television and terrible tradecraft. In real rooms, The people who do this work watch their early careers go sideways, chasing exactly those cinematic tells, accusing the wrong person because the wrong person sweated, and learning the hard way that the loudest signals are usually the most useless. The honest professional is humble in front of the human face, because the human face has fooled experts for as long as there have been experts. Humility is not weakness here. It is the calibration that keeps you from ruining an innocent life over a nervous swallow. So what do the real ones watch for? They watch for clusters. A cluster is several signals stacking up at the same moment, all pointing the same direction, all breaking from the baseline at once. One raised shoulder means nothing. One pause means nothing. But a pause, plus a shift in the feet, plus a sudden drop in the richness of the story, plus a hand creeping up to soothe the neck, all landing on the exact question that matters, that is a flag. Not proof, a flag, a place to dig. This is the moment to bring in the names that built the science, because we do not make this up, and neither should you. Paul Ekman, E.K. Mun, spent his career mapping the human face muscle by muscle. He helped create a system called the Facial Action Coding System, which breaks every possible expression into tiny components. From that work came the idea of the micro-expression, a flash of genuine emotion that crosses the face in a fraction of a second before the person can mask it. The fear that leaks before the calm mask returns. The contempt that flickers at the corner of the mouth when someone is asked about a person they claim to respect. These are real. They are also incredibly hard to read in real time, which is exactly why it takes training, and why Ekman himself has spent years warning people not to oversell what a single expression can prove. Now bring in the body. Joe Navarro, spent 25 years as a counterintelligence agent for the FBI, catching spies, and he wrote the book that turned a generation of investigators into students of the human body. It is called What Every Body is Saying. His central idea comes from biology, from the part of the brain called the limbic bike system, the ancient circuitry that handles fear and stress long before conscious thought catches up. When that system fires under pressure, the body tries to comfort itself. Navarro calls these pacifying behaviors, the rubbing of the hands, the stroking of the neck, where a cluster of nerves sits right under the skin. A woman will often touch the soft notch at the base of her throat. A man will adjust a collar that does not need adjusting, or rub the back of his neck as if it aches. People exhale slowly through pursed lips. They rub their thighs under the table where they think no one can see. None of these prove a lie. Read that again. None of them prove a lie. A man rubbing his neck might simply be tired. But when that self-soothing erupts at the precise instant you ask where he was on a specific night, when it breaks hard from the baseline you watched him hold for the easy questions, the cluster has spoken. The body has flinched at something the mouth is trying to keep smooth. If you have made it this far, you are already one of us. Cadets get every video 24 hours early and a badge in the comments. The link is below, but the body is only half of it, and here many amateurs stop too soon. The other half lives in the words. The richest deception signals are often verbal, in the structure of the story itself, and they are quieter and harder to fake than any twitch. Listen for distancing language. A truthful person tends to own their story. I did this, I was there, I saw him. A person fabricating will sometimes drift into the passive and the vague. The car was taken, things happened. That individual, they push the people and the actions away from themselves, as if holding the lie at arm's length. Listen for over-precise denials, the answer that is suspiciously complete, the alibi that arrives gift-wrapped with details no honest person would have rehearsed. Listen for the unprompted protest, the person who insists you have to believe me, who swears on things they were never asked to swear on, who answers a question you did not ask. Honesty rarely needs to announce itself that loudly. And listen for what is missing. Real memories are messy. They come with smells, with irrelevant details, with corrections. I think it was Tuesday. No, wait, it was raining, so it must have been Wednesday. A constructed story is often too neat, too linear, scrubbed of the strange little textures that real life leaves behind. The interrogator does not just listen to what is said, he listens to the shape of how it is said, and he watches the shape change when the questions get close to the wound. Then comes the part that separates a trained questioner from a curious listener. They do not wait for tells to appear. They create the conditions that produce them. This is called elicitation. You ask the easy questions first to set the baseline, then you slide in the hard one wrapped in the same calm tone, and you watch the gap. You ask a person to tell their story again, but backward, from the end to the beginning, because a true memory can be reversed while a rehearsed script falls apart. You stay quiet after an answer, letting the silence stretch, because most people cannot stand the silence and rush to fill it, and in that rushing, they say the thing they meant to hide. There is a deeper reason this works, and it comes from how the mind handles a story it never actually lived. Telling the truth is easy. You are reading a memory off the back of your eyes, and a memory does not care which direction you walk through it. Lying is labor. The brain has to hold the false story in place, monitor your own face, track what you have already said, and predict what the questioner believes, all at once. That load shows. It shows when the easy details flow and the load-bearing details suddenly turn vague. It shows when you ask for a small specific that a liar never bothered to invent. The color of the door, what was playing on the radio, who paid, and the smooth story stalls because there is nothing behind it to remember. The interrogator is not hunting for nervousness. Nervousness is everywhere and proves nothing. He is hunting for the weight of the lie, the cognitive strain that leaks out precisely when the questions stop being free and start costing the liar something to answer. Now for the honesty this topic demands, the part the clickbait leaves out. None of this is certain, not one piece of it. This is probability, not proof. Even the most experienced experts, tested in controlled studies, perform well above chance, but nowhere near perfect. The famous machine, the polygraph, the so-called lie detector you see strapped to people on television, is not reliable enough to be admitted as evidence in most courts. Because it measures stress, and an innocent person terrified of being accused produces the same spikes as a guilty one. There is no needle that finds the truth. There is only a human being, watching another human being, stacking small deviations until the weight of them tips toward a question worth asking. So when a thumbnail promises you can spot a liar in seconds, hold it to the honest standard. What actually happens in seconds is the flag, the flicker, the cluster that says, "Look here." The seconds give you the where. The truth still takes the work. It takes the baseline you built before you ever asked the hard thing. It takes the verbal and the nonverbal read together, never apart. And it takes the humility to know you might be wrong about the nervous innocent in front of you. Here is what I want you to sit with, and I genuinely want your answer below. If even the experts get it wrong this often, if the body of a frightened, honest person looks so much like the body of a calm liar, then is teaching ordinary people to read deception a gift or a danger? Does this knowledge make you sharper, or does it just make you suspicious of everyone you love, certain you have caught a lie that was never there? Tell me in the comments. Be specific. The best answer in this debate is usually the one willing to argue against itself. Official members get the parts that do not survive the public versions, the names and the details we cut before publish. The door is below. The young man at the border eventually answered the one question that did not fit his perfect story. His hand went to his neck. His sentences got shorter. And the officer did not announce a verdict or call him a liar. He simply asked him to step aside and start again, from the end.